Yes, hello there. It's Friday, and it is, of course, us reviewing and previewing going ahead in the ILT20. My name's Avnish Hegde, and you're watching this one on cricket.com, and you can catch all of it in terms of the ILT20 action on FANCODE. Right, gentlemen, Nikhil and Akshay in the house to dissect some of the games, some of the talking points, the controversies, the celebrations, if I dare say. So, first up, how are you, gentlemen? And let's start there before the weekend. All good in the house?
All good, of course. Right now, I'm going live from the CDC studio, if that makes sense, or if I can say that. So it's pretty cool. It's not often I get to do that. It's usually from the comfort of my home. So it's fun to be able to do that. And how's the week been? Of course, there's a lot of action going around. FanCode itself is also showing the West Indies Bangladesh series, so was catching up on that action as well. So plenty to watch there. The ILT20, of course. We will be, getting into the nitty gritties in due course. But all in all, good cricket. So I'm happy.
Yeah, lots to talk about in terms of cricket, but we're going to, of course, focus all our attention in terms of the ILT20, which is now moved past the halfway mark, and there's movers and shakers on the table. Gulf Giants still down in the dumps. You're talking about Desert Vipers in their eccentric form, if I may add. And we'll get into the nitty-gritties, like Akshay said, but here are the standings first up, because it's important to note where we're at the tournament and how it's going to move forward in the business end of it. So 10 points, like I said, with Vipers in their form, and then MI Emirates, Delhi. I need to get that out of my head. Dubai Capitals, and then, of course, Abu Dhabi Night Riders, all the IPL franchises, so to speak, in that tussle. And then, of course, you have also Sharjah Warriors in the mix with 4 points. We'll get into the highs and lows, the winners and losers, the real big hitters of week 2 with Akshay and Nix. But first thoughts, guys, in reflection of this week. I mean, like I said, movers and shakers, Desert Vipers. I mean, essentially, it begs the question, are they the inevitable winners?
The silence is of the other teams, wondering how to beat them. So don't get fooled by that. I mean, you can clearly see why we talked about them a lot as well in the preview, that the presence of so many people who can do so many roles and on their given day change the game around. You've seen different people step up for them. Last week, Amir has chipped in with a 4 for Hasaranga has come into his own, and I kept speaking about Zaman coming good and how good has Zaman eventually turned out to be. Alex Hales has slowly found form as well. So it's almost like ticking every box. They ran into a very mercurial Gulbuddin Naib for their only loss. But that's okay. Sometimes you need some kind of reminder about how great Gulbuddin Naib is, and if it is ILT20, then it is ILT20, because we can't forget that moment that he did in the World Cup. That is going to stay forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one that you pointed that one out. I observed Mohammed Amir's celebration of Pushpa. It's crazy how so many cricketers have got on to that, non-Telugu ones as well. But Akshay, jokes apart, we'll come to the most runs and most wickets in a bit at the ILT20 Season 3. But point being, what's got your eye on or off the field? Because last week we got some controversy with that whole Andrew Faf story. This week, anything to observe?
No controversies as such, but like I'd mentioned even during last week's review, performances of associate players would be something I'd be keeping a keen eye on. And Ayan Afzal Khan, that fantastic 4 against ADKR, that was brilliant to watch. I was hoping that at least one of them, if not more, would be able to come up with such performances. Zuhaib as well. Zuhaib, if I'm not wrong, if I'm getting the pronunciation right. Last season, he was Gulf Giants' highest wicket taker. Unfortunately, did not start for them. Finally got his game yesterday. Gulf Giants, given the kind of season they've had, it'll be even more trickier for him to, be able to come up with those performances that translate into victories. But good to see him come good. Erasmus as well, the Namibian captain, he came up with the 50. So that was fantastic to watch. McMillan has probably had a bit of a lull, so to say, compared to how good he was in week 1. But all in all, it's been great, seeing some of the associate players do well over here. Wasim himself, he's been consistently getting starts for the MI Emirates, so that's also good. And then Andries House, finally he got some game time. I've spoken about how Phil Salt not being there. I'm hoping that it doesn't disturb the combination. I don't care if they have too many top order batters. If that means House gets us you at the top. That has been the case, so I'm hoping to see some fireworks from him as well. Lovely.
Well,
it's almost like how Nikhil likes, a certain Todd Ridoy. I think you like Andres Gauss in equal measure. It's almost like it's your own boys playing this particular league. But again, recapping the week which has gone by, get in with the comments, that because I know lots of you guys are watching other leagues. You might be watching the ILT20. Tell us what's caught your eye. Tanbir is saying, why don't you cover the Bangladesh Premier League as well? Because we don't want to cover leagues which is absolutely rigged. Let me say it out there in black and white. I'm not going to hold back. I've seen that, not just the Jared video, but more than the BPL that I would like to speak about. But again, focusing on the ILT20, and I just want to observe some patterns that we've been seeing across these three venues. And one name which is coming to mind is Shea Hope. Now, I remember Ian Bishop once said on commentary 2 years ago that this man has been working in his power game, his range hitting. And I don't know whether it's the ilk of the bowlers that we're seeing in the ILT20, Akshay, but can you put a finger to why Shea Hope has been dominating?
I mean, firstly, I haven't seen a lot of him at the top. So him, being able to open the innings, it gives him that flexibility to, take toll on the power play. Usually we've seen him bat at number 4, number 5. It means he would be expected to start from the get-go. While batting the power play, the advantage he gets is कि थोड़ा time भी मिल जाता है, and importantly the field restrictions is something he can really maximize. Batters with good technique, it becomes a lot more easier for them to play with the field, just chip it beyond the infield, and that's essentially how he's gotten his boundaries more often than not. He's been comfortable lofting the ball, just clear the infield, and he knows he will get decent rewards for his shots. So that's been one interesting change. I also think, given how fragile that top order of Dubai Capitals has been, that in a sense has meant that Shai Hope has had to take up more responsibility. Even for West Indies, when he was made captain, if you guys remember the first 5-6 months of his ODI career, after getting captaincy, he was averaging like a bizarre 100, 110 or something like that. So he's shown that tendency to do well under responsibility. I have a feeling that also has played a role here. The absence of Jake Fraser-McGurk, David Warner, and they've not even gone it with someone like a Joe Burns consistently. All of this has meant that Shai Hope has been expected to play a very crucial role at the top, and he's relished that opportunity over there. Just taking up that responsibility, soaking the pressure. And if you look at his knocks as well, more than the runs, he's almost always faced more than 40 odd deliveries, and that's not a common phenomenon in T20 cricket. So that's also boded well for Dubai Capitals, because not a lot of their other batters have necessarily done well. So I guess it's a combination of these factors amongst others, due to which Shai Hope has done so well.
Yeah, fair points, Nikhil, because even if you look at Shea Hope in the 2 good innings he's played, I think the 101 comes to mind immediately against MI Emirates. And even though that's his highest score so far this tournament, I liked actually the one where he plundered the runs against the Sharjah Warriors. I think 6 sixes. And then you think about a true West Indian flexing his muscle. Everyone, when we were doing those Twitter spaces as well, or the spaces in X rather, everyone had Nicholas Pooran in terms of top run getter. But clearly, Shea Hope is hogging the limelight. Let's just reflect that for you all in terms of the top run getters right now of the ILT20. And it's not this one that is, of course, jumping the gun. Where is the other stat, my friend Shaunak, if you can get that on, producer G. But in the meanwhile, more big hitters to discuss of week 2, because Nikhil, I just want to ask you, because I just gave it away with the bowling graphic there. We'll just touch upon that before we go back to the top run, get a chart in a bit. Fazalak stand out for you, or again, is it the youngster, like Akshay mentioned at the top of the show, or you've seen someone else?
They've got a few good performances with the ball. I certainly love the Yorker that Ali Khan bowled to Kieran Pollard, and almost floored Nicholas Pooran as well, who just found a way to get it to the fence. Always a sucker for that kind of bowling. Again, Ayan Khan, you already mentioned. We've already seen a bit from Ibrar Ahmed in terms of Akshay spoke up. I hyped him about how he can rush people. Had a couple of iffy games, a couple of no balls here and there, but that's okay. So it is good that people who we've seen in the past have felt like, oh, they're vindicating our eye test that, oh, yes, we've seen them play. And for Ayan Khan to do well felt personally very good, because, again, whenever I play domestic T10s or T20s with these guys in their domestic cricket, they are my bankers. So I think it is good for that to come good. Even Zaid Khan had a good spell of 3-4. So it is good that you're having more of these options coming in and playing a vital role. He spoke about Zubair just a while back. So it is good that Amir, Farooqi and others are now being joined by these guys. Also, Holder is among wickets, which is good for him. Because again, I feel he's one of those underrated guys who we will see in the future, maybe even batting in the top order. So I won't rule that out for him and for the franchise that he plays for.
Yeah, interesting. More comments to take in a bit. Tanbir is still having his say about the BPL. Mate, come on, move on to greener pastures, which is, of course, uh, the ILT20, Habibi. Forget the pun there. Top run scorers, right? So our producer sorted that out for us. I was just going to show you this to reinstate how prolific Shea Hope has been in that 6 innings, 260 runs and whatnot. Banton comes close. We'll talk about his amazing knocks for MI Emirates. Fakhar Zaman's up there because I think Desert Vipers are doing really well, and Nicholas Purin with the usual candidate as well. Any surprises there, Akshay? My first question to you in terms of the top 5 run scorers so far in this tournament, and would you take anyone to RCB from that list?
I mean, given a choice, I'd happily take Fakhar Zaman. More than the runs itself, just the way he's looked at, the way he's stonked the spinners, especially the slog sweeps, the conventional
Basically,
sweep.
do everything to get his visa done, and then you feel like Misbah. Misbah got a first ball duck, did he?
2 match या 3 match खेला था Misbah. So you can always, again, you can't fault a man for hoping. So I've just enjoyed watching him bat. And Fakhar Zaman has always been one of those batters I'd happily pay to watch. We all remember the knock here in the World Cup that happened in Bangalore, where he just stonked New Zealand left, right, and centre, and won a game for Pakistan despite chasing 400. But again, in terms of how he's batted, Alex Hales has also very ably contributed from the other end. He was their highest run scorer last season. In fact, he was also the highest run scorer of the tournament last season, if I'm not wrong. So he was always expected to come good for them. The fact that now they have been able to complement someone like a Fakhar Zaman with Alex Hales, that pairing at the top, they've been explosive. Just the way, man, the ease with which he hits, and yeah, the sound of the bat with Fakhar Zaman. There's something about that.
But is that the main reason that they're thriving at the top of the table, the Vipers? Is it down to that destructive opening pair, or the top 3 rather, or do you think still the Vipers actually have a decent bowling attack also, to be fair?
For sure, they have a decent bowling attack, but you also need a more than decent batting lineup to be able to come good over here. And I'd happily say that Fakhar Zaman is one of the big reasons, because if you look at the middle order as well, Sherfin Rutherford at number 5, barring that, if Dan Lawrence also typically is not a very aggressive batter. I know he's done very well over here. Sam Curran himself is more of a 120s, mid to late 120s kind of batter. Alex Hales himself hasn't been in the greatest of form. He's hit the right gears in the last couple of games. So given the kind of batters they had outside Fakhar Zaman, it was important for him to come good. And the fact that he's been able to do that, like it was against Gulf Giants, right? That 10-wicket victory, they could have easily taken their time. Unko net run rate ka bhi tension nahi lena tha, because they were already sitting comfortably on top of the table. The fact that he still took matters into his own hands, that 50, the 30 ball 50 and the sixes, they were just beautiful.
Yeah, good to see always. Nix, I just want to talk about bowlers because you mentioned it there in the prelude to that run scoring graphic. We'll show you the wicket takers chart right now because it's interesting name. Sorry, let's have it on screen. Fazalak, we've been praising him to the hilt, and why not? Because he's been actually doing this for a long time, not just in this tournament. So holders there, because I think he bowls in those death overs. He's been getting, I wouldn't say cheap wickets. He has been, of course, getting some top order wickets as well. But Mohammed Amir always has his tricks up his sleeve in terms of this format still. Akshay's man in terms of the under-19, Ayan Afzal Khan is there as well with 8 wickets so far, and Lockie Ferguson leading from the front, being the spearhead and the capitano. So any surprising names for you on this list, Nikhil, or do you think look, people are always going to play someone like Sunil Narine out, right? So he's not going to be in those wicket takers charts. Do you think at the start of the tournament, a name you would have probably seen take a lot of wickets but hasn't come to the fore? Is there any cricketer like that in this tournament?
Maybe Hasanova, if you want to put it that way. But again, only 5 games in, maybe the decks will start to slow now, and maybe Hasanova could simply just easily catch up on that list. The catch for me in that list is Lockie Ferguson's economy rate. If I'm not wrong, he's gone at 6.29. If you told me this is going to happen, I would. People would take their arms, bodies off to get him in the wicket taking charts. I get that smile because I know where it is coming from. So to have an economy rate of 6 is great, and he's bowled some real good thunderbolts. So I think that is always happening to see. Again, we discussed about Holder, we talked about Fazil as well. I expect spinners to come into their own, going deeper into the tournament. Someone like an Ayan Khan or Hasamga himself, I feel, might even Waqar Salam Gill has had a few very good dismissals. The one that he dismissed Alex Hales with, first ball, beauty. I'm hoping to see more of that in the coming times.
Nikhil, I'm kind of puzzled because you mentioned spinners there. If you look at the top 15 wicket takers also in this competition so far, only one spinner in Hasaranga.
Yeah.
All the pacers of whatnot, and left arm pace, you have Ollie Stone, David Willey, Ollie Stone's there, Owen McCoy is there. So Hasaranga has been literally miles ahead of any spinners. Is there a reason why spinners are not coming into the fore so far, Akshay, Nikhil?
Like, I'll probably go back to Test cricket, and this is a theory that's generally floated around in Test cricket. It's not just about side spin that is that impacts batters. Slow side spin is a lot more easier to contend with, simply because batters have that much more time to rock back or even go front foot. And that's pretty much been the case here in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi especially. Like, the spinners have been getting decent, and more than decent side spin, but it's been at a very slowish pace. You look at the likes of Nathan Sauter, even Dushan Hemanta, the way he's bowled, बहुत धीरे से घूमता है. Like if you look at degrees of spin, it might be on the higher side, and you might wonder how a batter is doing so well. But they also have that much more time, so it's easier to just rock back, cut the ball. If you want, even deploy the reverse sweeps to great effect. So that has played a very big role. Apart from that, of course, just the fact that a lot of these batters in general, ILT20 historically has seen, while recruiting batters, they have usually gone ahead with batters who are known players of spin. मतलब ऐसा नहीं होता कि they're just looking at pace bashers and stuff like that. So वो भी teams की तरफ से भी you can see them also taking.
But let me just play devil's advocate. Sorry, because I was skimming through the squads. I was just thinking, apart from Narayan and Hasaranga, bro, you can't tell me there's any other world-class T20 spinner right now. Rashid's not there. Zampa's not there. So who are the other ones? Zahir Khan's taking.
Salam Khel is a more than decent spinner in general. Okay. I'd even add Zahir Khan. Again, these are good spinners. Just हम एक तो IPL के लेंस से जब देखते तो लगता है अरे IPL नहीं खेला तो शायद ये इतने बड़े नाम नहीं है.
No, I'm saying like other spinners like Rehan Ahmed. Rehan Ahmed has of course now come back, but like saying Roston Chase or Gurikesh Moti or these West Indian spinners or the English county spinners, whoever they are they quality enough spinners? Even though these are subcontinental pitches and more conducive to spinners, that are myths now in this time of year.
I wouldn't say it's a myth. There is assistance to spin. Nikhil bhai, sorry, aap pehle bola and then I'll chip
in. No, fair argument there that you can think that okay, subcontinental pitches, but again there is a lot of swing on offer, and very often you see them backing that option far more. That let's start with a lot of seam first, because you are seeing the ball move a lot. So eventually when you're bowling to the spinners, as you said, people are not going to want to lose their wickets to them. So the entire ploy changes. But when you have people like Waqar Salam Gill or even someone like Rashid Khan, they are used differently. So for spin to work, you also need them to be used accordingly. And again, completely agree to the point about side spin. And it is something even Varun Chakravarti spoke about, how he's changed from relying on side spin to overspin and bounce to ensure that he can catch batters on the move while attacking. So there are a few, I think Zampa, if I'm not wrong, is joining the tournament. So that should be something that's very interesting to see. And Waqar Salam Gill, Hasaranga and all, as I said, I expect them to come to the game, because once the decks start to slow, they will also realize maybe thoda or more quicker, and you will see them come to the fore. And Roshan Chase is playing today in this very game between MI and ADKR. So hopefully he can also put up a show.
Yeah, I think that two Aussie spinners that Aga's played a little bit. I think Hatsoglu
he came just a couple of games ago. So
yeah,
he's been
Hatsoglu guys, another BBL guy. I think I've seen him before. I think Ply State for the Strikers. I'm not sure, but good spin chat there, boys. Looking ahead right now, right? Because like I said at the top of the show, when we look at even the standings right now, it's almost like that halfway mark. So who's your money on? Do you think Tesla Vipers will run away in terms of being the first team to qualify? And then it'll be a real dogfight between potentially 2, 3, 4, 5. Nikhil, I'll start with you.
It feels like Desert Vipers almost have a foot in the final. Again, without putting the moggers on them, it's because of the all-roundedness of the side. I think the game today will also be very, very important, because I feel one of MI or ADKR will want to just run away a bit, that okay, let's try and put pressure on Desert Vipers. Of course, always an underdog FC. So if GG can find a way to pull a few punches, then it is always great. But at this point of time, it clearly looks like the guy in this thumbnail, Puran, could and should make the heavy lifting to ensure MI are competing heavily with Desert Vipers.
Yeah, MI play today, Akshay, in a very crucial game in terms of ADKR. If you guys are watching this live later, we're doing this on the Friday night, so it's a prelude to that game. And if MI win, I think then they just run away from at least ADKR. And then it makes you think even about, like, say, the Sharjah Warriors, right, who are kind of languishing at fourth right now. They have two back-to-back games, Saturday and Sunday. We saw the similar thing, I think, with ADKR last weekend. Is it a good thing? Because it's a short format. You actually just don't want a rest day. So if you get 2 points and then 4, it's momentum being built.
I mean, I was hoping for something like that to happen last week. Gulf Giants were also playing two back-to-back games. They won one and lost one. But again, the problem with something like this is that, shorter turnaround times means lesser time for recovery for each of these players. And also, make no mistake, agar ek game isme dopair ka hai, if it's an afternoon game, it's not exactly welcoming. Sure, it's not summer season and all, but afternoons can still be extremely sweltering. So you need to make sure that you are you are regularly hydrating yourself. You're keeping your body in activity throughout. So it's not easy, to be honest. I don't think. I mean, the silver lining is very slim. It's very thin. Sure, you can look at it that the brighter side is momentum, and you can sort of get through 2 games. But just the amount of action that happens in a T20 game, it's so fast paced. You need to be on the go throughout the 4 hours. So I think it'll be slightly trickier. So, but given the fact that where they're placed in the points table, it is important that they catch hold of each of these 4 points. They cannot. I wouldn't say they cannot afford to, but they wouldn't want to lose out on any of these points right now in the upcoming 2 days, given where they're placed. So yeah, it'll actually add a very interesting dimension to the whole story.
And just for the uninitiated, can you just explain to the viewers actually how the ILT20 knockouts work, or is there any particular similarity with the IPL?
So yeah, 4 teams qualify through to the semi-finals, and you've got your eliminator, you've got your qualifier 1, and there's the 2 qualifiers basically. 1 plays 2 in qualifier 1, 3 plays 4 in the eliminator. Winner of the eliminator plays loser of qualifier 1 and qualifier 2, and then of course you've got your finals between the winner of qualifier 1 and qualifier 2. Essentially, मतलब जो भी अभी का TLDR IPL में जो होता है प्लेऑफ्स में, वही सेम चीज यहाँ पे भी होता है. Only difference being वहाँ पे 8 teams हैं, यहाँ पे 6 teams हैं. And it'll be very interesting to see कि क्या होता है. I'm rooting for Desert Vipers like always. Just enjoyed how they've played so far this season. Very attacking cricket. The bowlers also, Mohammed Amir in particular, has been very good. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, like that you mentioned that, because ultimately the 2 teams sitting at the bottom of the table right now, Nikhil, do you think they will remain the 2 not to go to the knockout phases, or do you see a little bit of momentum being created by, say, the Sharjah Warriors, and then they can enter that top 4, and then Dubai Capitals have been blowing hot, blowing cold? So how would we kind of reflect in this table in a week's time? Because you're of course the Nostradamus of cricket, aren't you?
No, we tried that, which is why the first few wins for Sharjah Warriors were a bit of a shock to me. Like, oh wow, Tim Saudi comes in and immediately takes off well. But it again just tells you sometimes you have to get better off not just the condition, but also your own combination and getting the right people into form. When you had TKC playing a knock like that, you felt, oh, great, job is done. But then they've had a few collapses as well. So you saw how in the last game they were shot out by Mohammed Amir. So when you have a high variance team, these are the things that will come into picture now. The onus now lies on the experienced pros to really come in. You had Tim Seifert, Johnson Charles, Akshay spoke about him having that 1 or 2 knocks, which can really change the game around. Now, this is the week for them to do that, because if they leave it to the next one, it might be too late. So all of their options, whether it is Avishka, whether it is Tim Seifert, whether it is Johnson Charles, TKC, they have to start getting into the game a lot more, because they are very good, they are very destructive. But you have Mustafa and others, Rajapaksha, to support you. But you will need a star player there. So I think Similarly, for Gulf Giants, again, it can't just be that one guy right up top. You will need others to step in. So there is a reason why the others are at the top. Desert Vipers are at the top because they have enough people contributing. The team at the bottom, they're having to have the same people do it again and again. That will not be easy. So hopefully they can pull a few punches. Nicely done.
It'll be some turnaround if the Gulf Giants actually pull through and then qualify, and then of course do what they did in season 1 and win the competition. But early predictions, I think Akshay's sticking with Desert Vipers. Next, you're going Desert Vipers to win the tournament, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think MI will have a very good momentum of sorts. If Puran stays away, then yeah, Desert Vipers.
Okay, super. Let's just have some fun to figure out how to end the show. And I say that in a kind way because, look, we all love our celebrations in cricket. And Mohammed Amir pulled out a really good one yesterday in terms of emulating one of the, I was going to say Bollywood, but what is it there? Tollywood, right?
Tollywood, yeah.
Yeah, Tollywood. Pushpa. What's the best celebration in cricket? It irks the question then. We've seen a few. Hasaranga, I think, goes for the Neymar one. We've seen Zach just be cool. We've seen Bingas, just hammer down the pitch. I mean, anything which strikes immediately for you guys. Next, you start first.
What else?
Bumrah.
Nothing else. I mean, I've always loved Binga to begin with, and then I almost forgot the name. Bravo, because it will always irk people, and that is good. Sometimes you want people to get irked by celebrations, but yeah, off late and for the right reasons, just been being Tom.
Would you do that in terms of like just generally, if you were a cricketer, would you actually kind of keep changing your celebrations, or would you like make yours a trademark? What would you do?
No. Whenever I've played gully cricket or whichever cricket, it's always been instinctive, nothing pre-decided, whatever comes to your mind. As long as I am not Rabada and I'm not getting fined, I'm cool.
Yeah, Akshay, what about you? Are you the kind to just have your heart in your sleeve in terms of be more Kohli-esque about and be like have a few explicits as well?
Of course, वो तो सब yeah सबने देखा भी है. Like playing cricket, of course, like I can't be calm and composed when I'm in the middle, but I don't have a trademark celebration as such. I just go with whatever comes to mind, like Nikhil bhai. But special shout out to Hasranga for being very innovative with the celebration. We know his Neymar-esque celebration, but this time around while playing for the Vipers, he's changed it to this and like a viper. Basically, he's changed it to a snake, so he's tweaked it nicely there. But a celebration that I really enjoyed watching during my childhood was Phil Edwards. He used to do this, and that was pretty cool. I still love that, and his action, the sling, all of that, it just added to it. So I just loved watching him do that.
Yeah, Fidel Edwards definitely taking a page out of the John Cena manual for sure. You can't see.
Yeah, just one celebration which I find so far has to be the most craziest one to pull off is Kevin Sinclair. If you saw that happening, the somersault kind of thing that he has, crazy.
वो तो हमीद हसन ने भी ऐसा ही कुछ किया था ना. He didn't do a somersault, but ऐसा ही कुछ.
But this was a proper celebration.
Two things in that. One is the Hasaranga one. Maybe he's also irking little Bangladesh fans with the Nagin Derby, so you never know where the snake's there. And the second thing which comes to mind is you mentioned Hamid Hassan, sure, great celebration. But even Hassan Ali's failed celebration in terms of his shoulder being pulled.
Twice, not once, twice. Oh, man.
Yeah. For me, the bit of celebrations that I like is obviously, I think generally when you see someone like MS Dhoni really animated, I think I like those celebrations because those are very rare and gold. I like the one that Dabri Shamsi did, guys, where it was sorcery. He got like something out of his bloody sleeve. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So, but is this now Mohammad Ahmed being the third cricketer to do the Pushpa celebration in the field of cricket? David Bourne and then NKR, I think, did it in the BGT, and now Mohammad Ahmed. Yeah, so look, we're seeing a lot of stuff on the ILT20. Catch all of it on FANCODE. And I think with that, a little bit of a chuckle on a Friday night, we'll wrap up proceedings and we'll catch these boys and me again on Monday Night Live. You guys can check that out. Lots of people having their say in the comments about various things. Sean of Malling coming saying Tino best celebration. We remember that. and anything new about the surface in the buy. We spoke about all of it, Sachin Mondal, and all you lovely people who joined us right now. Apologies, we're over time, and we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like. I know all you guys are just looking at this in terms of sponsored content and be like, fuck cricket.com, I don't want to do it. But come on, guys, be smart and support us, because we've grown and you help us grow, honestly. See you guys soon. Bye, Akshay. Bye, Nikhil. We'll leave it there. Catch all the IL20 action on FANCODE right now.